The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff and management of WWDB TV.
Hey, welcome everybody. Thanks for tuning in to Doing It with Stiles again. And for the 3 or 4 people out there, our regular viewers who don't know, this is Mystic Mona.
Thank you,
Hello,
John.
Mystic Mona. How are you today?
Nice to have me on your show.
It's nice to have you on my show. Thank you so much. We're going to talk a little bit about being a mystic, or being a medium, or being a spiritualist, or an intuitive, or all that kinds of stuff. And a little bit later, we have a very exciting special announcement that Mystic Mona's going to make, I hope. So let's start out this with, what is, in your world, a mystic?
I'm going to start with how I ended up calling myself Mystic Mona.
That's a good place to start.
Okay, I'm going to start with that because I was going to be known locally as Madam Mona.
I don't think Las Vegas is a good place for
that
name.
I wanted people to say the name with a little bit of a smile, like, oh, Madam Mona.
Okay.
And so I actually snagged the domain name Madam Mona. I have since given it up, so I don't have it anymore. But then we had a dinner at our house, and someone said, you should call yourself Mystic Mona. Mystic Mona. And so I thought, okay, well, if the domain name's not taken, then I'm supposed to be Mystic Mona.
There you go.
So it wasn't taken, and then I, in turn, actually trademarked the name Mystic Mona. So that's how I ended up with Mystic Mona. But I have mysticmona.com, mysticmona.net, I have all the Mystic Monas. But the reason I chose Mystic is because the only power you have is right here in this exact nanosecond moment, right? And I believe that people find each other for a reason. So whether I find you or I find somebody else or they find me, we're supposed to have an interaction, which is why I don't believe in competition, because I believe the people that are meant to find me will find me. So I take that as a mystic approach to my business, is that the people that are supposed to be drawn to me will be drawn to me. And if they're drawn to somebody else, that's great. That's great. It's because it's your intuitions interacting with my intuition when that happens. So the reason I chose the word mystic is because it was the unknown that you have when you meet somebody you've never met before. That's why I chose that word.
In this life?
In this life,
okay.
Yeah. The thing is that it sounded good, Mystic Mona. It sounded good.
No, it's awesome. I loved it the first time I heard it.
So the funny thing is that several years into the business, because I've been professionally doing this since 2002, several years into the business, I had a very cynical person say, well, why do you call yourself Mystic Mona? It sounds like you're making fun of what you do. So that's when I actually started using Mystic Mona Van Joseph, and so I actually use both. So when my signature on an email now is Mona Van Joseph, aka Mystic Mona. I actually have 2 websites out there, mysticmona.com and mona.vegas. I'm probably going to keep them both.
Why not?
Why not, right? Yeah. I do have about 45, 50 domain names that point to either one of those sites, depending. But Mystic Mona, I want people to look at that and go, oh, is she the real deal or is she not the real deal? It's great for those people who book me for entertainment. So trade shows, special events, slot tournaments, that kind of thing. Mystic Mona really fits. And they've actually named tournaments after me at some of the properties. So there's been the Mystic Money tournament, that kind of, so it's been fun. But the term mystic to me means that every single moment can actually have magic to it if you're aware in that moment.
I have to interrupt you there because one of my things that have always been in my head, and I've just kind of always say, is there is magic everywhere if you're paying attention.
Absolutely.
And so that ties in nicely with so
Right.
cool.
Right.
I get it.
Of course you do. You wouldn't have me on your show otherwise.
Yeah, but then I
Hello.
gotta make fun of somebody, right?
Well, you know, it's so funny because, my actual real name is Mona.
Right.
And I grew up with the name Mona. And it didn't take very long for the second grade teacher to realize they couldn't sing the name game with my name. I'm just saying.
Now, you have to be over 30 years old to know what Mona's talking about.
Well, yeah. So, Kathy, Bo Bathy. I mean, that all goes,
Right.
but
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Cool.
So it was pretty funny that they actually, after that, skipped over my name, and it was very obvious why they were
Yes.
skipping over my name, but that's okay. So as a young person, the name Mona was a little mature. However, now that I'm more mature, it actually suits me well. So I think I grew into my name, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I do. And I think you're right.
Yeah. So the neat thing is there was a little Girl Scout on one of the news stations that was promoting her Girl Scout troop, and her name was Mona. And you don't hear little girls named Mona very often.
Right.
So she got my attention. So if I had been anywhere near her and she introduced herself as Mona, I would have probably bought her 12 Girl Scout cookies from her. 12 boxes. just 'cause
There's an old early Rolling Stones song called Mona.
there is.
Which is
I'm going to have to look that up now.
I will send it to you.
Oh, deal.
And,
Okay.
and it's an old blues song is actually what it is, and the Rolling Stones redid it.
Really?
Yeah. And so I'll send you both versions. You will love it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you,
So
John.
You think it'll be great. So the metaphysical world, I guess, is the word I'm looking for. Everyone has some kind of, well, not everyone, a lot of people in that realm have specialties or
Right.
go-tos, or
Yeah.
whether it's crystals, tarot,
Sure.
crystal balls, or gemstones, or whatever. Do you find that you have a predilection for one or the other, or
Tarot is my specialty.
okay?
And I do want to talk about the difference between a psychic and a medium,
Please do.
Okay.
That was
because
one of my other questions.
because I think you were going with that earlier.
Right. Yeah, but you got off on a.
I know. I do
But no,
that.
no,
I'm
that's
just
why I love
saying.
having you
You
as
went
a
to the
guest.
Rolling Stones. I'm just saying. So here's the thing: is that someone that's a psychic is actually looking at what's going on with you right now and
Okay.
what's likely to happen moving forward. They're looking at your energy right now, and that if you stay in that same energy, certain things are likely to happen. All right. So I don't call myself a fortune teller. I'm looking at what's going on with you and what you can do to either encourage that energy to move forward or discourage that energy to move forward by going in another direction. Someone that claims to be a medium is someone who allegedly connects with people that have passed on the other side. And while I do think spirit visits you, and while I do think that you get messages from spirits that have passed, I'm not sure that I'm convinced you can call them to you.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure. I have yet to meet anybody that can do that. And with the advent of the internet, there's just so much information you can find out about somebody in a nanosecond. So I'm a little skeptical when someone says, "Oh yes, I can connect you with, your grandma."
Right. It's and there's been a lot of people doing that on
Right.
television and
Right.
books and and
So I have to tell you this. So I was so excited. I got this email just a couple days ago from this English, from England, UK, that's doing a reality show in Vegas. They're filming it in Vegas. And they
cool.
reached out to me, and I'm like, "We're filming our reality show from London in Vegas." And I'm like, "Yay! This is so cool. We would like to know if you could channel Elvis."
So do
So-
you want the gig or not?
So I didn't respond.
Good.
And then she emailed me again. So I figured, well, she was really reaching out to me. So I emailed her back and I said, "So cool that you reached out to me. Connecting with spirits on the other side is not my specialty. However, if you want me to do readings for your reality stars about what's going to happen from here moving forward, that's great. And by the way, I know several Elvis impersonators here that would be awesome to refer you to, but none of them channel Elvis either." Look forward to talking with you. Sincerely, Mom. So then she emailed me back this morning and said, no, we really want someone who can channel Elvis. So that now I haven't responded.
Yeah.
Because she just now wants my contact to who the best Elvis impersonator is. I'm like, well, what's in it for me? You know?
Yes, I hear you.
I'm still thinking about if I'm going to refer this person or not.
So if I understand what you're saying is you are taking a reading of this particular moment.
Right.
And basically saying, if you continue doing what you're doing,
Right.
or if you continue down this road or this path, there's a good chance that this is going to happen.
Right.
If you don't, then you're going to go down this other path, and it probably something else is going to happen.
Right.
So every moment, every nanosecond in your life, you're standing at a crossroads. And every decision that you make is going to take you down one path or another.
If people are aware enough, that's exactly what happens.
Right.
So I wrote an e-guide. It's actually, you can print it too on Amazon, called 9-Day Energy Reset.
Yes.
And what the 9-Day Energy Reset is it puts you into the perspective of drawing to you what you want. Because it's not about affirmations. It's not about repeating the same thing over and over again. Because sometimes affirmations are acknowledging the negative to actually affirm the positive. So it's almost as if you're tapping in and agreeing with the negative when you're doing the affirmation.
Gotcha.
So we get out of that, we rise above that, and we go, I want to sell 2 million copies of 9-Day Energy Reset. So we say things like that. And when negative thoughts come into our mind that undermine our quest for whatever it is we want, we say, oh, no, that's not true. And we immediately dismiss it. One of my favorite meditations to give to people is to breathe in the word love for 5 seconds, breathe out the word fear for 5 seconds, and you do that for a minute. Then you switch it to breathing in the word love for 5 seconds, breathing out the word love for 5 seconds, and as negative thoughts come to you, you imagine that word love is like a cart on a train track. And it's carrying with that word love the negative thought away from you. You just imagine it. So whenever something happens that is contradicting what you want, you basically dismiss it. That's not true. That's not my truth. And you let it go. But it all boils down to, and I'm going to tell you, there are 6 things to get what you want. Do you mind if I go into this?
No, please do. That's
All
why
right.
you're here.
Okay.
Because I got nothing to say.
So the first thing is being grateful for where you are. You got to be grateful for where you are. The second thing is acknowledging that you have the perfect resources for what you want. The third thing is what do I want? The fourth thing.
Wait, can I stop you there?
Yeah.
I think that's probably the hardest one for people.
It's like an artist staring at a blank canvas.
Yes.
It's
what do I want?
What do I want to put on there?
Yeah.
I don't want to make a mistake.
Right.
Well, here's the thing. If what you want and the way you're going after it isn't working, the universe will make it very clear. So then the fourth thing is prepare for what you want. Prepare for what you want. Then be grateful, be aware of when it's coming to you. Be aware of it. And the last one is, and this is the most important thing. Actually, if I could just pick 2, they're the 3 that are most important. Gratefulness, know what you want, and the last one, and this is the hardest one, give yourself permission to be yourself. Because so many people are trying to be other people, and we know everybody else is taken. So the more that you are you, the more what you want is drawn to you in exactly the way you need to have it drawn to you. So when I do readings on my radio program, and I have people ask one specific question, so they don't get to ask, oh, what does the universe have in store for me? That's a full reading.
Right.
That's a full reading.
Yeah.
But if they're saying, hey, I'm going to this interview for a job on Tuesday, or I'm thinking about moving, and these are the states that I'm thinking about going to, those are the kind of questions I answer on my program. Or is Randy the guy I'm dating, the guy I should keep dating? So, I get those kind of questions. But what happens is sometimes the universe will overrule the question, and I won't answer the question. I will go to what's most important that they need to know. So sometimes they are getting the message from the universe because it's hitting me
They're
over the
getting the
head.
message that they need.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right.
Now some people might say, I'm going to play the devil's advocate
go ahead.
right here.
Yeah.
Some people might say, well, that's kind of a cop-out.
No.
Because you couldn't really answer the question that I wanted, and so you're just redirecting me into another. I mean, in the moment, and I can see that happening.
I'm not always right either.
Yeah.
I had
What?
I know. I'm not always right, and I'm the first to tell you that because
Well, I'm going to interject something here because a year ago, this lady told me that this was going to be happening the way it's happening. So in that particular case, you were right.
Okay, so here's the thing: is I was tapping into the energy of what you wanted,
Right.
which is why that came up. I had a gal call my program just this last weekend, and she talked like she had an accent, and I said, "Well, you're bilingual, right?" "No, I'm not bilingual." I said, "Wow, your accent's heavy, as though you are bilingual." I'm not always right.
Yeah.
So, I'll tell you where I'm usually always wrong. If I'm standing in front of a pregnant woman and she asks me what she's having. If I'm standing at a roulette table and they ask me black or red, I will pick the wrong one. And because I'm not supposed to be a game.
And you're familiar with Edgar Casey, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And I think that one of the things that one of his basic principles was not getting any personal financial gain from his gifts, because every time he did, there were negative impact on him.
So here's the thing. I charge a reasonable amount for a reading.
Right.
I don't charge any more than what you would be paying for a massage usually on the strip, right? And I have some specials that I offer from time to time that I do a 30-minute reading for people that just want to get right to it, and we get right to it, which is exactly what they need. But I provide the radio program for free for people, specifically because there are people that need a question answered. And some of them have had bad experiences with other readers. And those readers are the ones that tell you of bad energies or curses or the evil eyes on you or someone's...
Right, and give me $500 and I'll remove
exactly,
the curse.
and I have to buy this special candle, and it's going to cost me $1,000 to buy this candle for you.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite.
And it's like... and I think I've told you this story before, but there was a woman who called me about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I had appointments, so I didn't get to call her back till about 4:30. So I called her back, and I said, "Hey, I'm calling you back. It's Mona." And I said, "You wanted to book a reading?" And she goes, "Oh, I already went and saw somebody else." And I said, "Okay, I just get a little vibey here. So if that person told you you had any kind of bad energy or a curse or anything like that, they're full of crap. Don't believe them." And she goes, "Really? I don't have a curse?" And I said, "No, of course you don't." I said, "You're going through a tough time right now, which is probably why you reached out to a psychic in the first place. But no, there's no curse." And she goes, "Well, because the lady told me that if I didn't bring her $500 by the time the sun set, that nobody would ever love me." And I said, "You go put that money back in your account and you block her number.
Yeah.
Do not let her." She goes, "Because she's been calling me ever since I left her saying that I have to bring the money." And I said, "Block her number, and you could report her to the police."
Yeah.
That's why in Las Vegas, and it's one of the only venues, they have the psychic arts license.
Right.
So it's not a test of psychic ability. It is a criminal background investigation to make sure you haven't taken little old ladies for their life savings. Right. I mean, there are still people that are licensed that do that, but you're less likely to be scammed by somebody that is licensed.
And is this something that you have to display?
Oh yeah.
In your place of business, or
hold on a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the parameters are you're supposed to have an office space. So if somebody tells you to come to their home, it's likely they're not licensed. There are exceptions to that. People that have difficulty with mobility, sometimes the license will be granted to them that way. But the typical psychic arts license is you work out of a commercial address, and I work out of a Regis Executive Suites. You have to display your license in your office that people see it as soon as they walk in. And you have to post your rates in at least 1-inch letters.
That's cool.
So that they see how much you charge.
Right.
So if those things are not in place, it's likely the person is not licensed.
Gotcha.
So because and the thing is there's actually a website out there called psychicartslicense.com where it talks about all the people that are supposed to have a license. So, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and you've been practicing for what, 16 years now here?
Yes, you can do math too. That's awesome. Yeah, since 2002. So yeah, I've had the license since then. And I have to tell you, I'm so grateful because right after I got licensed, I ended up getting booked at Carnival at Venetian, and then I ended up getting booked for New Year's Eve at Venetian. So
Wow.
it was just an awesome, my first month in business, and there I am getting booked at one of the most beautiful
Oh, yeah,
properties
that's
in
cool.
Vegas. Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah.
So, what is your favorite? You've done a number of events over the years. Do you have one that is like your absolute favorite that maybe is an ongoing annual thing?
Well,
or-
I have a couple of hotels that book me all the time for
Right.
certain events. Like I have one of the Caesars properties books me for Halloween every year. And then I have a property up in Reno that books me for 5 or 6 events every year. And the reason they book me is because their high rollers like me.
Right.
So, so it works out really well. And they're waiting for their slot tournament, and I'm doing little mini readings for them.
Right.
And it's really cool. But probably when you asked, is there any event that stands out? I got booked once, and I don't know they've had it since because we lost Hugh Hefner. But it was the Playboy poolside party,
Oh, cool.
and I have to tell you about this. It was the noisiest party I have ever been booked at. And it taught me the lesson to make sure that when I'm set up, that I'm set up in the quietest location
Right.
in the venue, because this was not quiet. So I literally would have to do this right to people's ears to have them hear me. That's how
You're
loud-
going to meet a tall, handsome.
I see travel in your future. No, what happened was, and I'm thinking this one particular guy. So this guy comes up, he's slender, he's good looking, and he's got 2 gals, one on each arm, and they're both gorgeous. I mean, just gorgeous. I think every single one of the Playboy bunnies there was blonde, so I sort of stood out because I was a brunette,
Right.
right? But every one of the bunnies, I swear they looked like a carbon copy of each other. They all were a size 1 on a fat day. They were all blonde. They all were wearing their bunny ears and their tail. And it was really, I mean, they were gorgeous, but they all looked the same.
Yeah.
So this guy walks up with a gal that was African American and a gal that was a redhead. So they were standing out just because they weren't blonde. So I have him turn cards over, and I look at him and I said, "How honest do you want me to be with you?" And he goes, "Hit me." And I said, "Okay." So I cupped my hands to his ear and I said, "If you could just learn to sleep better, you wouldn't need sex to go to sleep." And he started laughing. He goes, "You're right." It was tipped me $100. It
Wow, cool.
was very cool. That's the biggest tip I've ever gotten, but go figure, right? Anyway, I'm just telling you, it was a really awesome
So
event.
that was the most fun.
It was
Interesting.
loud,
Yeah.
but it was fun because of the variety of people. And the people that were at that party were the really, really high rollers that were staying, because I think it was at the Treasure Island is where
Gotcha.
it was, yeah.
You have another event coming up too, pretty quick, don't you? In May.
Yeah. Oh, yes, I do. Thank you. I do 2 events for Help Us Southern Nevada.
Right.
One is Tiaras and Tequila.
Right.
So it's at the Ricardo's restaurant on Flamingo and Decatur here
Decatur,
locally.
I know it well.
And
It's a great place, great food,
awesome food.
great tequila,
And
great tiaras.
You wear your tiara, and it's an excuse. I have guys wearing tiaras. It's very cool. So you wear your tiara, and it's $10 to get in, and all proceeds go to Help Us Southern Nevada. And then on October 30th, I do Night of the Witches at the Grape Street Cafe in downtown Summerlin, and that's where everyone dresses up like a witch. So we had about 70 people show up last year at Tiaras and Tequila. We had exactly 100 people show up for Night of the Witches, but I think it's going to at least double this year, because the people that were at the one last year were telling people how much fun it was. And for the Night of the Witches, we actually do a costume contest, which is kind of cool. So
So if people come to you for a reading, what should they expect? Or what should they be prepared for?
Well, so if you come to me in person, what's going to happen is first of all, I'm in a very quiet office. It's in an executive suite, so you're not going to leave smelling like a hookah lounge. So when you go up to the receptionist
and where's
desk,
it located?
it's at 500 North Rainbow,
Gotcha.
Suite 300. And so it's where Summerlin Parkway and the 95 Free and Rainbow all connect. And I'm by appointment, so you just can't walk in.
Right.
So, but the nice thing about it is you're greeted by a receptionist. She asks you if you want tea or water or coffee. It's just lovely. Then I come get you, and we come in and we sit down, and we draw cards together. And if you want to record it on your cell phone, you can. I have no problem with that. And so I do a general overview of what's going on with the person, probably the first 20 minutes of our time together. And the more interactive you are, the more you're going to get out of the reading. But I have a lot of people that come to me and they sit there like a stone for the first 20 minutes until I actually go, is there anything that I've talked about so far you want to explore further? And it's usually always yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So we explore whatever they want to explore. And then we spend the rest of our time together with questions that weren't answered in the general portion of the reading. But that's why I tell people to write their questions down before they come to see me, because I'm so thorough in that first 20 minutes that sometimes they forget the questions they wanted to ask.
So if a person comes to you or wants a reading and they basically say, hey, I don't have any questions, just tell me something.
Right.
Is that
Yeah.
okay?
And that's part of the reason I get booked at special events, is because people don't know why they want to sit with me. They just want to sit with me. So I will have them draw 5 cards, and I'll tell them what's going to happen, what's likely to happen, what's going on with them, and I do that in just a short amount of time, which is very cool. But I've had people go, look, I just want to hear what you have to say. And I said, okay, well, here's some paper right next to you. If you have any questions while we're talking, jot them down, or a word or something, and we'll talk about them after I've done the general portion of the reading. The only people that have actually been disappointed in a reading with me, and both of those reviews are on the internet, is one gal that thought I could help her get her boyfriend back.
Oh.
And I don't do love spells or anything like that. I believe that the people that are in your life are in your life for the time they're supposed to be there, whatever it is. Okay. And the second one was a young man that we had not talked before we scheduled the reading. We did it all by email. And when he came to see me and I saw all that, I go, there's a lot of sadness in your cards here. I said, but I don't want to dwell on the sadness. I want to dwell on moving forward. And we're probably about 10 minutes into the reading, and I could just tell he was getting more and more irritated. And I said, I don't seem to be doing a good job for you. And he goes, well, you haven't mentioned my mother's died. And I said, well, you have all the sorrow here. I said, I really don't want to dwell on that. And I said, but I'm not a medium. I don't connect with spirits on the other side. I said, so why don't we just agree to end the session? And, I'm sorry that I wasn't what you expected. So he left and then immediately wrote the worst review about me on Yelp, which is fine.
Have one,
well, yeah, but the thing is that
otherwise nobody believes the other ones.
Well, here's the thing: is that it gave me the opportunity to respond.
Oh, okay.
So what I said is, thank you for writing your review, because it gives me an opportunity to define what I actually do. And I'm sorry I wasn't what you expected, but if you do find a medium that you are satisfied with, please let me know.
Yeah,
I'd be delighted to know who that person is locally.
Cool.
So,
and one of the things that nailed it for me, when this was year and a half ago, one of the things that you said that I thought, yeah, that's right on, is that I thrive on chaos.
Oh, you love chaos.
And I really do. And that has been in pretty much every career that I've ever had, or any job that I've ever had, is I've always said, I grew up in construction, been in construction most of my life. And I've
so you know
always
how to
said,
cuss.
Yeah, big time. And which is the hardest thing for me in this whole mess.
Yeah.
But I always said, give me the toughest job that nobody else wants.
Right.
Because that's where I'm going to learn.
Exactly.
I will not learn by doing the same thing over and over and over, the cookie cutter stuff, the
and
easy
how
stuff.
boring is that?
It is boring as hell.
Right.
So it's just, the ones that, oh my God, we're all going to die, are the ones that I want. Because those are the ones you're going to walk away from. You cannot lose.
Right.
If you are not successful, people are going to say, well, nobody could have done that.
Right.
And
but
if you are successful, you're a hero. So,
oh my gosh, yes.
So anyway, yeah.
And either way, you have contributed to your book of knowledge, because nobody can take that away from you.
Absolutely.
And see, that's the thing that I try and focus in with people, is that you are unique to you. It's like you are you. Be you. That's the...
I know, I get it.
It's like I get so frustrated with the media and who they celebrate, and that we see the same faces ad nauseum being celebrated, and go, well, they're only famous for being famous. They haven't done anything. What have they done?
I'm a huge fan of BBC America TV.
Right.
And one of the things that I like about the Brits or the Europeans or whatever in their television shows, their movies, are the people that you see on the screen
Right.
are more real than what we see in
Right.
Hollywood.
Yeah.
It's not all, I mean,
Right.
there's attractive people, there's unattractive people, and everybody in between, but they are, you know, they could be your neighbor.
Right.
And they're not Scarlett Johansson, you know.
Although I
but
think
they're
she's
still
awesome.
a heroine.
Yeah.
So,
I think she's awesome.
oh, she
know-
is. I'm not saying that she's not, but what I'm saying is that their focus is on the story, the you know, the whole ball game, and not just, wow, I'm going to that movie because I want to see her, you know, or she's going
Right.
to be naked within 12 minutes into the show. You know,
Actually, you know, there's okay.
I know,
I'm sorry.
I know where you're going with that, but go
Okay,
ahead.
I'm sorry. I got invited to the Adult Video Awards,
Right.
And I was blown away at what people's fetishes are, because I guess I'm way more of a prude than I thought I was. So I go to this one booth and like, oh, spin the wheel. So I spun the wheel and I won two things. I won a T-shirt, which I'm not going to repeat, but which I gave away as a joke gift in one of those white elephant gift
Right.
exchanges. But the other thing I won was a book that tells you how many minutes into a movie
particular
you
movie.
see nudity
Yeah.
or sex. And I'm thinking,
There was a website. There was a website that you can go and find out.
I'll bet that website had lots of sponsors.
And I'm sure they did. And you could look it up by movie title, by actress,
Oh, yeah,
by
yeah.
actor,
Yeah, how
by
many minutes
director.
into- yeah.
And at such and such a time, and I just thought, yeah, well, that's
Oh,
it. You know.
I have to tell you, I'm sorry, I'm digressing again.
Please.
My husband and I love Netflix, and we love the idea of when we find a series that we get to binge watch it.
Yeah.
And one of the series, and it's spelled Schitts. It's pronounced shits, but it's spelled, so it's called Schitt's Creek.
And it's the family.
Oh
and-
my
and
God! It's Eugene
It's
Levy.
Levy,
It's,
that's it, yeah. That's
Catherine
hilarious. I
O'Hara,
love that.
and the two people that, and I guess his son is actually plays the son
Right.
on the. That there's a message in that series, because this is a very wealthy family. The brother ends up taking their $500 million, and as a joke years ago, they bought this town called Schitt's Creek.
Right.
So Schitt's Creek has this little motel in it, and they end up taking over 2 rooms in the little motel. But there was a message in one episode that I really tuned into that I'm just going to share it with everybody, because it's like, all you need to be successful is good clothes, the internet, and the will, because you can find out anything you want on the internet. You can present yourself well if your clothes are good, and if you know what you want, you can find it.
Yeah.
But there was this one episode where that summed it up for me, and I'm like, oh, I really love this show. So we have to wait for the next season now. But
I know, that sucks. How about Black Mirror?
I've never watched that.
Ooh.
Is it scary? See, I don't like scary.
Okay, but here's the thing. Then there is one show that you have to watch
What?
on Black Mirror. Season 3,
Yeah.
episode 1.
Okay, but if I'm going to watch Black Mirror, I'm going to have to watch all of them, right?
Right.
Okay.
And basically season 3, I mean, it's kind of like Twilight Zone.
Oh, yeah.
So
Which
they're
I can
not-
only watch at like 11 in the morning.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is they're not
Followed by a
blood, gore,
comedy.
guts, hair, teeth, and eyeballs.
Okay, all
You know,
right.
they are more cerebral stories.
Right.
And for example, the one that I'm telling you to watch, season 3, episode 1, Black Mirror on Netflix.
Okay.
All right, is about social media
Oh, yeah.
and how it is affecting. You've seen it? Okay, we have a studio audience.
Yay.
And how basically it's a what if we continue doing things the way we're doing, this is the way we might end up.
I am not getting an Alexa.
I me either.
I'm not. But, you know, it's funny.
Okay, so here's a good one.
What?
South Park. Everybody knows South Park.
Yes.
All right,
I
well,
only
they-
remember what's wrong with their mouths. They're Canadians.
Yeah.
With the way they're... Sorry. That's the
Okay,
episode
so
I watched.
they had one episode where they spent the whole episode punking Alexis, because you would have someone on the show say, Alexis, order 4 dozen blah 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 blah, And they did this through the whole show. There must have been 50 times that they did this. And the people who were watching the show, their Alexas were doing all this stuff that they were talking about
Okay,
on
well,
TV.
it was like the joke that was on Facebook where the owner of Amazon says, Alexis, take me to Whole Foods. Buying Whole Foods.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But it's funny because the other episode of South Park I watched was the Yelp episode. That was so hysterical.
I know.
Because a lot of people that call themselves Yelpers are kind of snobs, which it's just kind of funny. Anyway, yeah, I get it. I totally get it.
And we recently took your advice and signed up on Yelp.
I know.
Yeah.
I have to do something with that.
Yes, do something good.
Did I already review you?
I don't know if you did or
I might
not.
have. I might not have, but
Okay.
yeah. But Yelp is good for you.
Yeah, that's why I did it.
Here's what
you told me this was going to be good,
Okay,
and
here's what I love about your studio is that anybody that wants to do anything here can do it. If a band wants to record
Now
a
we can do
video,
that,
they
right.
can do that. If someone wants to do their own commercial or promo spot, you can record it for them and they could take
Ooh.
it with them.
one of the commercials that Beth and I shot recently for one of our sponsors, Bob Allen Golf.
Yay, Bob Allen Golf. Woo.
All right, we
Par for
did
the course.
he's, at Bob Allen Golf, your game is in the bag.
Oh, very good.
So that was his tagline.
Yeah.
So we did a commercial for him. He's one of our advertisers, sponsors one of our shows, and he wanted to take that a little bit further. So I'm sitting home watching TV one night, which is a rarity anymore, and our commercial pops up on MSNBC.
The one that you filmed here?
The one that we
Oh,
filmed.
that's wicked cool.
And it was just, it was the one, we did one for a minute and we did one for 15 seconds.
that's
and you know how
great.
expensive it is on, so
But
anyway,
if you already have them recorded, they can be plugged right in.
and that's what he did. He just took them over there and worked with the guy there. And so yeah, I've seen it 3 times now.
Oh, that's great.
And I'm going, that is so cool.
Oh, my God.
And I was able to catch it one time on my cell phone. It's like, oh, wow.
Well, the other thing is that you can even put Our Work's Been Seen on MSNBC.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
See, okay, you got that, Beth? Yeah. So,
I-
anyway, so one of the things, I'm sorry, it's just
We go on.
we have such a good time whenever you come over here. I want to talk about your radio show.
Yes.
You have a
I do.
radio show.
I do.
On Saturday mornings,
Sunday mornings at 9.
Sunday mornings
Yes,
at
it's
9 a.m.
Live. Yes.
You have to say the a.m. or p.m. because this is Las Vegas.
Yes. So I host Psychic View at 9 a.m. live every Sunday. And it's actually heard on a variety of different other podcasts and radio stations. So what I do.
Really?
Yes.
What do you think that might mean?
Oh, well, I could actually call myself syndicate, I guess, at this point. But the nice thing about it is that the other places that are broadcasting my program is I record it live on Sunday.
Right.
Then I send it to them.
Right.
And then they play the one that I actually just recorded on the following Sunday.
Right.
But then I'm doing the program live again while they're playing the program. So if someone happens to hear the phone number during the broadcast, they can actually call in and it's the live program.
Right.
And then they would hear themselves the following Sunday, which is kind of cool. So I've got a variety of different stations doing that, and it's working really well, actually.
And so I'm going to make the announcement now that you will be able to hear Mystic Mona here at WWDB TV.
Yay!
9 o'clock on Sunday mornings.
Yes.
Beginning whenever I get around to it.
Right.
Probably, and that's one of the reasons that I was hoping you'd come in so we can talk about that, and we could, yesterday we could get that up as quickly as next Sunday.
That's great. And I think maybe we might want to even talk about doing a live broadcast here in the
Anytime.
studio.
You know that-
where we call into where I do the program and we hear the people and their questions and they can see what I'm doing maybe every now and then.
That'd be cool.
So we'd have the audio and the video on it.
So
which would be nice.
we still have we got plenty of time.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
So you keep playing with your cards.
Yes,
Um,
I do.
Can you give us just a quick example
Well-
of what someone might expect?
So I've been sitting here focusing on you this whole time, and one of the things that I want to say is that it's real important, John, that you take your skill to a variety of different places that you wouldn't normally take it to. For example, if you go to a smoothie place, you might want to speak to the owner or the manager and say, hey, you could film yourself at my studio blending this green drink. And it doesn't cost you very much, and then you get to keep that.
Right.
And if you have a YouTube channel, it can go right on your YouTube channel. The other thing that I keep getting is that anything that you've done that's a video, any commercial that you've done, it might be fun to have a running stream of your video commercials once you get enough of them that just run 24 hours a day on a special segment on your website. Just your commercials.
We could do that, and there is a place for that on the site
Right.
that we could do it. So, because everything that I have shot, going all the way back to KLAV days,
Wow.
I still have.
Wow.
I've kept. In fact, you were talking earlier about a real estate show, and there was a show that I recorded over at KLAV,
Right.
and year and a half later, the real estate person called me and said, John, is there any chance that I go, yep, I got them all. So I
Wow.
sent her all of the copies of the shows, and that's one
great.
of the things. So once your show is up here on the station, it stays on our website, it stays on our YouTube channel, and you can access that through Roku, all the other
Well, and the
stuff
best
there.
part about it is that when your clients come to you to film something, some of them actually want to put their video right on their website themselves.
They absolutely can.
So you can do things like a promotional video right on the site.
Right.
You could do an introduction video that goes on the signature line of their emails.
Yep.
So hey, get to know me. This is what I do. Blah blah blah. But I want to look. I
Okay.
turned your
Yeah,
cards
no,
over
no,
here.
that's fine.
So be a little careful of too many people that want to keep you in the past. There are people that are supposed to be in your past. You have to let them go into the past. You have to let them fade into the past. That's what this card's saying.
And I try to do that with a couple of exceptions, and
Right.
I understand exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. And the thing is this is a it's the phrase "don't should all over yourself." SHOULD. Don't should all over yourself, because you have it's like this. It's almost a guilt thing that. It's almost an old tape, like, oh, you'll never make it, or oh, you should do this, or oh, you're smart enough to be an engineer. Why didn't you go in that direction? The thing is that's not what you loved.
Right.
That's not what you wanted to do. But you still fight that demon, according to this. This is the big card and the big leap. Coming here to the new studio is you leaping into your potential. That's
I
what
love
this
that.
card
Can
is.
I show that card?
Absolutely.
So this is I don't know if you can see this very well, but it's basically it. When I see this card, I'm sorry, but I see someone flying.
Right.
But I understand the leap.
Right.
So
The other cool thing about this particular card is that when I was looking for a new deck of cards, I was reading with the Rider-Waite deck. Yeah, that's the one that's...
No. I'm looking at this
Yes.
right here.
Yeah,
Got it.
Got it.
Right.
So when I was looking through the whole deck of this deck, and I came across this card, the key word on the card is called trust. My whole body went goose flesh, and I thought, oh my gosh, I need to have this deck. So I ended up actually back then reading both decks with people. So I would do my old deck, and then I would have them draw one card from my new deck.
Oh wow.
So it would allow me to focus on a card. And by the way, the secret of doing tarot well has nothing to do with memorizing the meanings of the little booklet
Right.
that comes with the card. It's your impression of the card. That's how you own a deck of tarot cards.
That brings up a theory that I've always had. I think I've told you this in the past, but I believe that most of us, or a lot of us,
Right.
have that innate ability within us.
Yes, of course.
And that some of us, we choose, or chooses us, tarot or crystals or beads
Tea
or
leaves
whatever,
or palms,
right, as a
numerology,
tool or a crutch to allow us to get what's outside.
Well, okay.
So some people might have an affinity for tarot, but if you took the tarots away, they still have the ability.
Right. And I wouldn't use the word crutch
Yeah,
I would use it
that's
as
not
a,
what
I would,
meant, but-
I know what you
Okay.
really mean is that some people need that as a focus
excuse
tool.
or focus or yeah. Because
So-
they don't want to admit to themselves that they have that. No?
No, I like using, I mean, you've seen me read people without my
yeah.
cards.
Yeah.
So it's not, the cards when you're doing a reading with somebody actually help with the pictures, bring the message home to the person you're doing the reading for.
Okay. I get
So,
it.
and it also can talk about timing. Like something could have just happened. I could point out that there was something that happened, I don't know, last July that you really needed to pay attention to. And actually, if I were to point out a month to you, it would be July, because that may have been the decision that you ended up deciding to move here last July. So July was a turning point. But this card is talking about how you're seeing things very clearly right now. And that the more people that can put you in front of new people, the power of coincidence for you is absolutely huge right now.
There are no coincidences.
Well, but okay, it's saying that to other people it will appear as a coincidence.
Right.
To you, it means you just need to be more aware. And this is saying that stress is actually your friend. You like it when you're stressed. You do your best stuff when there's a deadline. You do your best stuff when you're stressed. But
which ties in with the chaos.
Which ties in with the chaos. The thing is that you're going to be presented with things that stretch your possibilities because your studio is now capable of it.
Right.
And that one of the things I'd love you to offer, this would be wow, I just had a thought for you. What if you did a 30-minute screenwriting contest for the students at UNLV for their film school?
That would be awesome.
Wait, and that you would allow them to film it at your studio, and you would highly encourage them to enter it into, say, the Sundance Film Festival.
Are you familiar with the 48-hour film challenge that goes on here every year?
No.
A couple times a year, isn't it, Beth?
Wow.
There is, and these are all independent filmmakers and stuff here in Vegas that every year, or maybe it's twice a year, they get together and they are given, each team is given 48 hours and an idea for a script or a movie.
Right.
They've got 48 hours to write it, film it, and we've helped out a couple of people do that last year. And that's something that, I like that.
So here's where
I like that.
Here's where I think you can make money at it, is where you approach the Smith Center and you say, I would like Las Vegas to start its own film festival, and I would like to do a contest where your board of directors for the Smith Center judges the scripts, and the winning script gets to have their studio time to actually film the script in the studio for free. That's what they win. And then the cool thing about it for you is you get to put yourself on there for screen credit.
Right.
Okay. But then whoever's the blooming actor and actress, the blooming director, whoever it is, and even the kids that are the film students, you can help guide them on how to film it. So the person that's doing the filming gets credit. The producer gets,
Right.
you could actually list yourself as a producer as well as a few other things. But the neat thing about it is that what if Las Vegas became a film festival? What if the parameters were that the films have to be between 20 and 30 minutes?
Right.
That's it. But you get the Smith Center involved, because we have now arts culture, and I can see people paying money to watch a film festival that might go from, say, 9 in the morning until 9 o'clock at night or
Right.
later.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Good idea.
It's a
okay.
thought.
I got some notes here.
Right.
We're on
Yeah.
our way. So we're starting to run out of time.
Darn.
I know it
Goes by so fast.
and that's what I tell people. They say, "How am I going to fill up an hour?"
Oh, wow.
And I'm going,
All you
just wait. You're going to go, wait, I need more time. I need more time. And Mona, that you are welcome here anytime.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
I'm always open
You
to
guys have been
any
so good
ideas.
to me. You really
Well,
have.
Hey, we're all in this together. And that's
And
what I
nobody's
keep-
getting out of here alive.
That's exactly right. So we might as well enjoy the hell out of what we're doing here while we're doing it. And I also know, real quick, that you're also involved in a lot of rescues and pet places.
Oh,
and,
yeah. Yeah.
And which reminds me, this St. Patty's Day over at the Poppy Foundation, which is on
Skyview.
Yeah, I'll put the address down here at the bottom.
Skyview.
Skyline, yeah.
Yeah. Dr. Steelman.
She is absolutely
She's a dream.
phenomenal.
She's a
She is
dream.
absolutely phenomenal.
Best vet ever.
I mean, she's one of the best human beings I have ever met
Yes.
in my life.
Yes.
And she's taken care of a number of my critters. And, you know, I mean, I have never been there when she wasn't there.
Yeah, she's. I
And
swear
I
the
mean,
woman's
she
a
must put in
workaholic.
300 hours a day.
Yeah.
But anyway, the Poppy Foundation and Bonanza Cat Hospital over on
And she
Skyline.
remembers your cat.
Listen,
It's with
that-
all the cats that she seriously she remembers. She's just
I have a
phenomenal.
kitten at home. Well, she's probably about 2.5 years old now.
Yeah.
But I saw on the website someone had brought this little kitten in that was about 2 weeks old, and they were looking for a foster. And she was up there for about 3 days, and nobody was responding.
Volunteering, yeah.
And I thought, okay, all right. So I said, I'll take care of him, because the woman who found him was going on vacation the next day for 2 weeks. So it was like, John, if you could just take her for 2 weeks, you know.
Yeah, that was
because they have to be
history.
fed every 4
Yeah,
hours.
and
I
you
thought,
you named her, didn't you?
yeah.
Yeah. See,
Yeah.
once you name them and feed them, man, they're yours.
Well, it's and so when the woman comes back from vacation 2 weeks later, and
the
she
kitten's
calls me
thriving,
up.
yes.
Oh yeah, and she was doing really well. And so she tells me, okay, I'm back, and you know, thank you, and blah blah blah. And we just got to talking a little bit, and I said, so how many cats do you have? And she goes, 8. I said, 8.
We have 4.
And
They're all rescues.
And oh my God, I said, so what's your husband going to say when you bring one more home? She goes, he's going to kill me. And I said, look, I bonded with this cat. If you don't want her, or you're just taking
Yeah.
her, I said, I would be happy to keep her. Oh my God, thank you, thank you, thank you. No.
Well-
But that's the kind of people that
Yeah.
are out there.
Right.
You know, and they will, and I think you know Stephen Sue Honorado and Christy Santoro
Oh
and
yeah.
Terry Springs.
Oh
and,
yeah.
You know, all
Marvin
of those people. Marvin Seaman.
Marvin's,
yeah.
he's like a cat man.
I know.
He's a cat man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, so anyway, start looking for Mystic Mona's show on WWDBTV.com. On Sunday mornings at 9. And the nice thing about that is that after it airs on Sunday morning, it goes into our archive. So if you missed a show or you want to go back and see some of the older ones, they'll be up there. And Mona, thank you again
John.
so much.
Awesome.
Like I said, anytime, anything, you got something going on you
Thank
want some
you.
help with,
Thank
you know
you.
you can pick up the phone and call us, and
That's
we'll
awesome.
we'll
Thank
help you
you.
out. And for those of you that are bored now and want to move on to something else, you have my permission. And like I always say, if you're going to do it with Stiles. Bye.
Nice work, John.